Hey there everyone, welcome back to another video. Well, we're pulling out of the barnyard down here. I'm in the red tractor, 49's coming along behind me. Right there's the 8070 on the bean planter. So we're going to head south. And I think it's about a 24 acre field down south here. And get it scratched up. And then Dad's going to move into the bean planter and start planting beans. And then from there we'll jump up to their 75 acre field. So I'll bring you along. Alright, just pulled in here and we're both rolling. So far ground's working up good. Over there was the 49, the other 33 foot disc. With both 33 foots running, just from what I've been able to tell, we are covering right at 30 acres an hour. And so you put that 30 foot disc in with the 4840, that jumps it up to 40 to 42 acres an hour. And so, but like I say, I mean, even still it makes it nice you can cover this much ground. Okay, we moved from the field that we were just in. 49's over there, if you can see it through that dust cloud. My neighbor's over that way across the road planting corn with his 24 row planter. So we're out here rolling. I don't know, got a pretty good breeze running, so I'll see if I maybe throw a little drone footage to this as well. We'll see. Alright guys, well, the field that you saw me here at the beginning of this video, we've moved on from there. And but you saw us out here rolling on the drone footage, and approximate guesstimation with both of these big discs running, we're knocking out at least 30 acres an hour. If you take and throw the 30-foot disc in, we're hitting 40 to 42 acres an hour. But this here's where we had rye at last summer, so getting it knocked back down because this is going to be going to beans. But well, hey, I'm going to call this an end the video, so I'm going to try and get more video footage of soybean planting. So take care, thanks a lot for watching, we'll see you next time.